It is Mailbag Monday, hella Asgardians, Supernatural teams, and of course there's a lot of questions about Ultima 7, guys, all coming up right after word from our sponsor, ClanHQ. ClanHQ is a new, fully featured messaging app, and it's got all your favorite bells and whistles, like all the other messaging apps out there, but what sets ClanHQ apart is it allows you to integrate your game data right into the app, and it makes it so easy when you are trying to recruit for your alliance or when you are looking for an alliance. And they also just added voice and video calling capabilities. Yo, Casino, what's up, man? And also a new dark mode was just recently added to make the app a little easier on your eyes, guys. And hey, the best part about ClanHQ, they're adding new features all the time to the app, so it's just getting better and better and better, and you could be one of the first in your alliance to use it. Plus, in addition to Marvel Strike Force, ClanHQ supports over 75 other games, including Contest of Champions, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and many, many others. So check it out, guys, and make sure you use the link in the description. Yeah, baby, check out ClanHQ. But if you are ready for your Monday mailbag, let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. Oh yeah, I am back, and yes, I'm not under the weather anymore. It is Monday mailbag. I'm ready for your questions, guys, so let's get to it. There's a lot of questions about all these new characters, the Supernatural team, the Marauders, the Asgardians, and of course, Ultima 7. This thing is hard as hell, and I think a lot of people, including myself, are really disappointed with the rewards and the season points that you're getting from this. So we're gonna talk all about that, plus a lot more. There's a lot of questions in the mailbag, so let's get to it. First question, ValleyFlyin, do you think additional X-Men are being held back so that it doesn't have an effect on Phoenix profits? I think that is something that is definitely very, very possible. I know it's something that I know Capital Games used to do with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is a very similar game to this, and they would kind of hold back some of these bigger, more popular characters for times that I think the revenue was dipping a little, and they could have it shoot back up with some big, very popular characters. So I think that's very well might be the case with certain characters like some of these mutants, maybe some other more of these popular villains like Doctor Doom. So I don't know. It is just a suspicion of mine, but it is very, very possible and very, very likely. Next question. There's a bunch of questions here, but the two main ones here are, do you think we'll ever get the rest of the X-Men to round out the X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue? So yeah, like I said, I think it's very, very possible that they're holding back on these X-Men, but with the popularity of these characters, I think they will get released at some time. Second question was related to the Brotherhood, though. Do you think we'll get the rest of the Brotherhood? This one's a little more murky, especially with the recent addition of the Marauders coming to the game. I know that the Brotherhood has a lot more characters that are more popular with more casual fans like myself, like you mentioned, Avalanche, Blob, Toad, Quicksilver, and the Marauders have a lot more obscure characters in them. So maybe they're not going to complete the Marauders. Maybe they'll give someone the Marauders tag that wasn't technically in the Marauders, like Strife, or maybe they'll just let us theorycraft the rest. I don't know. We will have to see, but X-Men, yes. Brotherhood, I am not sure. Next question, what game mode will Supernatural be good in and bad at? So for the Supernatural team, it's not really about a game mode because it's really about the team that you're going up against. And the Supernatural teams are going to struggle against teams that have a debuffer like a Jessica Jones or a Groot or a Ronin, and especially AIM, because that AIM team loves being debuffed. Any other team they'll do pretty well with. There'll obviously be some teams that they do better with, but yeah, definitely it is going to be more, I think, dependent on matchup to determine how good this Supernatural team is, and not as much on game mode. Next question, what is the T4 I should put on my Supernatural? So I actually think there's two that are really, really good, and both of them are passive. So if we go to take a look at their kit, the first one that I really like is Mortal's passive right here. Too many sorcerers on death. And so at max level, he's going to start to heal the most injured supernatural ally for 10% of this character's max health anytime any character dies. And I think that's very important because one thing that this supernatural team kind of lacks is that survivability. So this helps them with some healing with Mortal's passive. And I like passive because they benefit the whole team and not just one character. So I think this is a very good one. Plus, on a death of a Mystic, you're getting 1 to 2 ability energy for self and the lowest health ally instead of just 1. So I think that's a very good passive. The other one that I really like is from this guy, the new character, Ghostwriter, Spirit of Vengeance. So if we look at the difference between his T4, the level 4 ability and his level 5 passive, he's getting a little extra damage, but the big thing, it makes his health that he's gonna gain for himself and the rest of the Supernatural team up from 20% to 40% max health. So an additional 20% max health for him and the rest of the team. I think both of these are very, very worth it, especially in conjunction when you combine these two, because Morto's dealing with a percentage of max health, and this is Ghostwriter's passive just increasing that max health. I think these are the best two out of the bunch. And then there's the Doctor Strange Book of Vishanti is also a very good candidate if you're fully investing in this team. But just on the top of my head, these two passives look the best to me, and I've actually done Morto's passive already. Next question. Would you like to be able to watch war fights that your alliance members are in? So I know this is a popular request, and when I have the time, I think this would be a cool feature, but personally, I don't think this is something that I would use a lot. War takes up a lot of time already, and if I'm watching other fights, it's just going to take more time. So personally, I wouldn't use this, but I know it's a popular request amongst the community, so I would be in favor of them adding this as long as the resources going towards building this don't take away from some other game mode. Next question, any chance of them making Alliance War chat? I think trash talking could make war so much fun. I personally don't really talk a lot of trash unless I know the person that I'm talking trash to, so I don't think I would use this feature a lot either, but I also see this feature being something really, really bad, especially when you are anonymous online and you're talking to anonymous people. I think people could get very out of character from their normal selves when they're doing this, so I don't know if I want to see this come to the game. Next question, do you think the Marauders, Guardians will be on war defense as Coulson? Which one scares you the most? So you got to remember, the Marauders and the Asgardians as they stand right now, even if all the characters that were mentioned in this update were released right now, these are not complete teams. So the Marauders, they look very strong. Mr. Sinister looks very strong. Strife looks like a good tank to combine with Mr. Sinister, but it's not a complete team. So this one, I don't know how strong they'll be on war in their state right now without a 5th character, if they are planning to go the route of having a 5th character for that team. Same thing with the Asgardians. You know, the Hela, her passive looks very strong, or, you know, because every time Greg dies, he's coming back to life, and anytime on war defense a normal Asgardian like Thor or Loki dies, she's getting another Greg back to life. So it looks like a very, very strong war defense team, but Coulson is complete, and we know what damage that one does. So as far as which one scares me the most, it's gonna have to be Coulson, but they could be these characters, these other teams, depending on what they do for the 5th spot of that character, the Marauders team, and the 4th and 5th spots of that Asgardian team, or if we're just left to theory craft the rest. Next question, with Greg being Mystic, how do you think she'll pair with Morto and his passive? So let's go back and look at Morto's passive. So when we look at Morto's passive, this is where it involves Greg. On a death of a Mystic, heal self and the most injured Supernatural ally for 15% of the character's max health. So you're getting a lot of healing because Greg is dying a lot, but the important thing is you're also getting a lot of ability energy for self and that ally. So if Greg's on the field and he dies, you're healing Supernatural allies, you're healing Hela, assuming she's the only Asgardian on that team. And it's a lot of healing, a lot of ability energy stacked out. So theory crafting wise, on paper, this looks very, very strong. But as we know, sometimes when we test things out in an actual game setting, no matter how good it looks on paper, it doesn't actually work out like we thought. And then, you know, sometimes we got the reverse effect where we think it's gonna be crappy on paper and it's like, oh, this is amazing. But I think this one is going to be very, very good on paper. So kind of like an Asgardian and Supernatural hybrid could be very, very annoying if you're fighting this team, because a lot of healing and a lot of ability energy going all over the place. ValleyFlyin, do you think blue gear will become an issue with Ultima 7 not giving any blue gear orbs? So this is why a lot of people were mentioning this. Not because they're short on this blue gear right now. I don't think a lot of people are short on blue gear right now, except for maybe newer players that are really needing that stuff. But yeah, it's one what will come, the fear of what will come when we don't have that constant supply of the blue gear. So this definitely could be an issue, but because they have changed rewards for raids in the past when they've been a little too stingy, I am hoping, I'm crossing my fingers that they're gonna fix some of these rewards and some of these season points for this Ultima 7 as well. How much harder is Ultima 7 from the previous one even? Much harder. I was in a different alliance when the first strike version of Ultima 7 came around. We're getting to 60% pretty easily, and then we eventually did 100% all 4 of the raids, but 60% was pretty much easy for the benchmark. I'm in a new alliance right now, and we're getting to 40% without too much of a struggle, but yeah, it's definitely a lot harder. The nodes are harder, and there's not as many alliances that I hear of 100% in this thing. Next question, what are your thoughts on Ultima 7 not rewarding as many raid leaderboard points as on Ultima 6? My alliance has been aboard of Ultima 6, and running Ultima 7 is a decent change, and it can swallow the rewards, but getting less leaderboard points unless you get to around 40% seems ridiculous. So 40% does seem to be the magic number where it seems to give you a little more points doing it at 40% than the previous version at 100%. So if you're kind of in that situation, it sucks. And like I said for the previous question, I hope that they up the rewards and especially these raid season points. As it stands now though, it might be good, running most of the time on Ultima 6. If you're in that weird spot where you're getting to 30% but not quite at 40%, you might want to do more Ultima 6s throughout the week and then run Ultima 7 maybe once or twice a week to kind of gauge where you guys are at. And once you guys are hitting that 40% pretty consistently, it might be good just to switch to Ultima 7 and keep it there. But until you're getting that, it might be good to go back and forth between Ultima 6 and Ultima 7. Next question, ValleyFlyin, would you be willing to do a one-shot video where you talk about the state of the game for people who can easily 100% Ultima 6 but can't do 30% on Ultima 7 consistently, either due to RNG or lack of Ultron or the wide gap? So there is a wide gap, and for me personally, I am enjoying the Ultima 7, but for a lot of alliances, and it sounds like your alliance is in that spot, that you could auto Ultima 6, but not quite get to the 30% on Ultima 7. This is where I think the difficulty is a little too hard. And I didn't take this into account before because I haven't seen a lot of comments like this before. But yeah, this is an issue because if you can fully auto Ultima 6, you should be able to at least get to 30% on Ultima 7. So for that, I think some of these earlier nodes, I think they should reduce the difficulty maybe on some of these characters because yeah, it just makes sense that if you auto the previous raid, you should be able to get the 30% on the raid that you're at now. So hopefully they will switch that up, because for that percentage of alliances that are in the same spot as you, it's not, the difficulty is not good. Rewards aside, the difficulty shouldn't ramp up this much, in my opinion. I'm not sure what the reasoning that Foxneck has in making this ramp up so much without, ramping up. It ramps up like this. It doesn't ramp up like that, Next question, ValleyFlyin, I heard ISO 8 and level 75 is the key to Ultima 7. When are they coming out? I have no idea. Well, I mean, level 75 is already here, and that's gonna give you a big jump in your power just from upgrading that. Now, the gold crunch, that's a whole nother issue, whether you'll be able to do that for multiple raid teams within a short period of time, but eventually, everybody should get there. ISO 8, I have no idea when that thing is coming out. It's been through a few different iterations. I think they're still working on it, so I don't know about the release date on it, but hopefully that will make Ultima 7 a little early. It does seem like it's kind of tuned towards ISO 8 being in the game and most of our characters being at level 75. Next question, are Wakandans living up to the hype in Ultima 7? They were supposed to be able to complete Ultima 7 on auto. So I don't know if they were supposed to complete it on auto. I don't know if they were hyped that much, but they were hyped as being like the ultimate raid team. And are they living up to the hype? So remember, Wakandans are very good at punching down. They're okay at punching across and not very good at punching up. And in Ultima 7, they're always punching up, so they're not doing that well. They need a little bit of a rework, and they just need to be overpowered to do well. So maybe when you get up to level 75, they'll do a lot better. Maybe you get them all up to gear 14, they'll do a lot better. You get some good red stars on them. So a bunch of these things are totally RNG dependent, kind of out of your control. And then ISO 8, maybe they'll be able to punch down to Ultima 7 and be able to auto this thing way down the road, but anytime soon, I don't see them being able to auto this raid. Even meta teams aren't able to auto this raid at this time. Next question, what is the team you need and what minimum power level do they need to be to have a chance at Ultima 7? So I have about 5 or 6 teams that are 250k plus, and I'm using all of them to go through Ultima 7. So I would say you need a bunch of teams at least 250k to do well at Ultima 7. With short of that, it's going to be a little hard, especially after you get past that first mini boss, because difficulty does ramp up a bunch. Second part of the question, do you think they should be able to a red star pack? If they're charging so much, you should at least get a guaranteed minimum 4-star pull. There's a lot that they could do with red stars and their offers for that. I think most of the offers are horrible. Personally, I wouldn't buy any of the offer unless it's related to a video, which I have done in the past. But as far as just value, bang for your buck, not so much with any of the red star offers that I've seen. Next question, besides the 50 core refreshes, what should I spend my cores on? So the best thing you're going to do is spend it on those refreshes to get energy, to refresh your nodes. Now, once in a while, if there's a character you're really going hard for, like maybe there's a legendary event coming up and you need those shards in a short period of time, once in a while, I would refresh the actual character nodes. I could get more opportunities to farm that character per day. Once in a while, I'm refreshing the Blitz store if I need that war energy. And then sometimes if I'm not able to complete raids, I'm using refreshes so I could do more nodes. So those are the situations I use cores on. Pretty much those are the only times I use cores. I don't really like buying character shards out of this supply shop for 450 cores. I don't think that's worth it, but your best bang for the buck is gonna be energy. But there are a few situations, like I mentioned, that you might want to use it in addition as well, just depending on your situation and your alliance. Next question, I just unlocked Ultimus, but I'm experiencing a gold crunch. Is he worth unlocking, leveling up? Is he best with Creed? No, he sucks. Save your resources. Don't put anything into Ultimus until he gets a rework. Next question, and this is a long one. Basically, this is about a VIP system. So if you guys aren't familiar with a VIP system, they have something similar to that. And they have exactly that in Marvel Future Fight. So basically what this is after you spend a certain amount of dollar amount, you get these permanent bonuses. So you spend X amount, you get to tier 1, you spend a little more, you get to tier 2, and so on and so on. And each tier, you get these different bonuses, like maybe being able to get more gold in a campaign, or you get different bonuses when you do the challenges or different things like that. Maybe scoring more blitz points so that it gives a little bit of an advantage to the players that spend money. And I like these kind of bonuses if they're balanced. I don't know if everything that I mentioned just off the top of my head were balanced, but if they balance it and make it to give players that spend money a little bit of advantage, but not a game-breaking advantage, I would be in favor of it. It is very tempting to spend money when they have these permanent bonuses. That's why I spent money on Future Fight, by the way. So Foxnext, if you're listening, VIP system, if it's fair, it could be a good thing. Next question, ValleyFlyin, do you still pity the fool that doesn't have M'Baku? Yes, I pity the fool that doesn't have M'Baku because he is the tank to one of the most mediocre raid teams out there. Actually, they're okay. They're okay. They're a good raid team. They're just not what they were built to be. I think that's why they get so much crap, but he's okay. He's okay, but yeah, I still pity the fool that doesn't have M'Baku. Next question, is Ghostwriter even in the Jack-o'-lantern orbs? Yes, he is. I unlocked him yesterday just from doing the milestones, and yeah, I blitzed a lot and I opened a lot of these orbs. He is in there, but it is possible to unlock him with just free to play, and I've done that yesterday. So Ghostwriter, it is possible. He is in there. Next question, how do you prepare the Fear of the Darkness if you don't have Minerva? So just to let you know, it is possible because the first few people that passed Fear of the Darkness, Minerva was not in the game at that time. So they went through Fear of the Darkness with no Minerva. So it is possible to beat it. It's just going to be a lot harder without her. The team you mentioned here, Groot, Star-Lord, Fury, Rocket, maybe Shield Security, they'll get you through it, but without Minerva, it's going to be very, very hard to one-shot a lot of these nodes. So just just be a little more patient than the people that do have Minerva, but you can unlock Ultron and beat Fear the Darkness with that team. Just don't expect to do it all in one shot like you would with Minerva. Next question, are there any T4 abilities that you see are absolutely essential to completing Fear the Darkness? So one of the best moves, one of the best things about Minerva is her ultimate, because it's the best damaging move in the game, because it's a percentage-based move, and a lot of the health pool of these characters in Fear the Darkness are so high. It's also the best healing move, because her healing is based on all the energy that you're taking away from the enemies. So with that said, the move that you want to invest in is not that one. It is Star-Lord's move to funnel energy to her for that move. Star-Lord's passive. On turn, 50% chance to give out ability energy. He also gives out ability energy with his specials. So you want as much ability energy going to Minerva such that she can do her ultimate, damage the enemies, and heal your team. So Star-Lord's passive. That's what I would do if I only had one T4 that I could pick, that I could take into the Fear of the Darkness. Do you think we're getting way too many characters way too fast? They are coming a little faster than I would have liked. I think the 3 per update was a pretty good pace, but hey, if you look at the flip side, I've experienced the flip side back in the day when I played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. One character every 2 or 3 months, that is not fun. So I'd much rather have it this way, getting these 5 characters. Maybe I could only upgrade 1 or 2, but I could choose which ones to upgrade and then maybe putting the other 3 on the side for a little later. I would much rather have it this way and have to balance my resources and being able to not upgrade characters rather than have no characters and nothing to do. So they are coming fast, but I don't know if they're too fast at this point. We'll see when all the characters come out this update, because I don't think we've ever had 5 characters in one update before this one. So we'll see. But as of now, my answer is no. Our next question, I'm new to the game, wondering where I could get good team layouts. Is synergy as important as other games, and is there a leader in a team? So as far as leader, no, there's no leader, but a lot of characters have good passives that benefit the entire team. So if you synergize a team right, you can kind of have 5 leaders on a team, because you'll have some really good synergy with that squad. Is it important as other games? Depends what game you're playing, but synergy in this game is very, very important, especially if the team you're facing is synergized. It's going to be very hard to beat them if your team is just some mix of random characters, unless you're super overpowered against the other team. Wondering where you could get good team layouts. So if you're new to the game, the team that I really focus on is defenders. And if you want to really give like a roadmap, I made a previous video on my free-to-play farming guide. This is the order that I think you should farm characters in. Basically, defenders, guardians. After that, it gets a little muddy, but if you're new, go defenders. Once you can start to farm guardians, go guardians. And that'll help you very much into the mid-game part of Marvel Strike Force. Next question, what are the best 3 teams for Ultima 7? So I use 3 teams. One is my normal BKT, and then the hybrid with Ultron instead of Thanos' play. So I'll count that as one team. The other team I use is an Ultron team, and basically it's Ultron and 4 characters that are tried to keep Ultron alive, and that is Hand Century, Doctor Strange, Drax, and Mantis, and I pair that with Ultron, and that team actually does very well in Ultima 7 as well, and they do good. Ultron can clear one of the earlier loads, especially if you're not getting a lot of AoE attacks against you. And the other team is X-Men. X-Men does very well in every single game mode. The only negative about that team is that you'll have to revive Phoenix after every node. But if you're looking to just take out one node, X-Men could do that very well, if depending on your opponents, how many opponents that you have to go through. All right, next question. Do you agree with taking Coulson Medic out of Fury Shield to create an Avengers Shield team then have 2 Blitz squads? I definitely do, because with Blitz, it's more about having a lot of teams. Instead of having one great team, it's better to have 2 very good teams that could win at tier 8.3. That way you could get 2 wins instead of 1. So for Blitz, definitely agree. Make some good teams and not just awesome teams, unless you're just looking to auto that thing. Now, for other game modes, talking specifically about raids here, it's usually best to go in with your best team. So if that Coulson version is your best team, go in with that one. If there's another squad that is your best team, go in with that one. But usually it's best to have the best teams for raids and arena, and a lot of teams for war and Blitz. Do you think it's time to update the Blitz milestones to what it's like for the Red Star Blitz? Yeah, Red Star Blitz is percentage based. I think all of the Blitz rewards should be percentage based at this time, but they're taking a long time to switch that up. So I don't know. They definitely should. I hope it comes sooner than later, though. I don't know what they're waiting on. What's your favorite kill animation in the game? In my opinion, Minerva's cool as well as Killmonger uses his sword. My favorite animation in the game is obviously Hulk, where he gets the character and throws it around. But I don't see a lot of these animations because I play on 3x speed a lot. So some of them I'll see, most of them I won't. Another cool one I really like, and this one's very, very hard to see, is Ant-Man. When he gets giant, he'll just grab the character and throw it across. Now, Ant-Man's damage is so low that it's very hard to see this one, but if you do, that's a very cool animation. And then Cable has a cool one as well. He does his teleport and then takes them into some other dimension, maybe some other time. That's a cool one as well. Next question, kind of related. What are your favorite team up animations and finisher animations are your fave other than Hulk? So I mentioned two others that I like other than Hulk. I like the Ant-Man and the Cable one. But as far as finisher team up animations, there's two that I like. And one I like just because it's cool is that fastball special. The other that I like is because I know that it's damaging the enemies a lot, and that's the Groot Rocket team up on Groot's Ultimate. So those are my two favorite team up animations. One because it looks cool, the other because I know what it's doing. Next question, do you think War defense needs a revamp? The non-global roam buffs don't really do too much. So this was one thing that was mentioned to devs. I think Casino brought this up to them as far as a way of avoiding these full clears. The devs really wanted to go with these defensive teams. They knew it was boring, but they thought that was a solution. I like this idea better of changing up the rooms, doing some of these upgrades that they did mention a long time ago that looked like got placed on the back burner because they haven't talked about it. But yeah, War definitely needs a revamp. There's a lot of little issues with War, so hopefully they will address these things, make it based on these rooms to stop some of these full clears and bring some fun back to the game. Because they did admit that this War is not, in its current state, is not how they intended it to be with all these fast full clears. When do you think other Asgardians will come out? Did you play with other new characters that we don't know about? So I have no idea when the Asgardians come out. My assumption, and this is just based on like the Cerebro interview and some things he said in that, I think they're gonna come out in the next update, and hopefully we'll get some other Asgardian characters to kind of complete that Asgardian team. Did I play with any new characters? There were some other characters that we tried to play with, but every time we tried, the game crashed. So no, we just got to play with AIM and then the Coulson Shield, and then whoever else was in the game at that time, but no new characters other than that. Really excited about Hela coming to the game. Any rumors on how is she going to be released? No rumors on how is she going to be released. Haven't seen anything in data mines or the rumor mill as far as that. Does the 45 character shard unlock mean she'll be a common Blitz character? Maybe. I don't know. The past few characters haven't been Blitz released, so hopefully that means that they won't be releasing Blitz characters as new character, or Blitz as the method to release new characters, but no confirmation on any of that, but hopefully, because yeah, I don't like these crazy like 10 million plus Blitz scores just to get a few shards for that character. Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch both got reworked. I thought Thor would be a part of that group when Fox Next introduced Hela as one of the new characters. Any news on when Fox Next will be doing Thor's rework? So again, I think Thor's rework is going to be coming this next update along with some Asgardians. That's more just speculation on my part, like I said, based on some of the things Cerebro said while he was doing that interview with Casino. But again, I don't know. Things always change up, and we never really know what's going to be happening in the future. So, and I know things change up into the last minute at Fox Next. So, I think it's going to be the next update. Next question. What is the newest, most frustrating thing you've seen in War and why? All right, so this is not the newest, most frustrating thing, but the team that gives me the most trouble is Sinister Six. Even when I end up beating that team, I don't feel like it's a consistent strategy, like, oh, this is how I beat this team. Where it's some of the more meta teams, like the Brotherhood team, not the Brotherhood team, the Ultron team or the BK team, like, okay, this is how I go in and beat this team. With Sinister Six, I'm still trying to figure them out just because I don't have a lot of experience fighting them in Blitz. I don't see them a lot in Blitz, so I don't really have a consistent way to kill them, but I end up beating them. It's just I don't feel good about it when I do beat them. So Sinister Six has been the most frustrating for me. Next question. Have my Fantastic Four at low power, was planning to slowly bring them together as one, spend a gold on him. Would it be worth fast tracking Invisible Woman, breaking the team synergy to get Invisible Woman at the 70, as she seems to be in the meta now? So it really depends on what game mode you're focusing on. If you're focusing on Blitz, you want to keep the teams kind of similar to keep that synergy so that your opponents aren't going to be too crazy with what they're bringing at you. So if you're focused on Blitz, I would say keep them around the same power level. If you're really looking to make a difference in arena or your raids or some other game mode, bring her up because doesn't matter what the rest of the team is. If you have one character really high, it's just going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. The only place that it's going to hurt you is in Blitz. So it depends on what your focus is on. Next question. The majority aims seem to be all about 6 stars with the exception of Graviton, who's at 4 stars and 0 red stars. As a great character, should I put him away until he becomes farmable? So my answer is going to be very similar to the last question. It really depends on what game mode you're focused on. If you really want to use aim in Blitz, then keep them all around the same power level. If not, if you're using them in War or Arena for some reason, or if you're using them in raids, you know, it's going to be better just to build up the rest of the team and leave Graviton behind. But if you're looking to really use them in Blitz, you want to kind of keep them the same. So it depends on what you want to do with that aim team. ValleyFlyin, which team is considered the best for Fear the Darkness? Is it that Burger King teams currently have BKT, but instead of Thanos, I put Shield Security. So that is a good team. I used Nick Fury instead of Shield Security, but the team you got there will beat Fear the Darkness. So if you already have them ready, go in, you'll beat it. You got Minerva, you got Star-Lord, you're gonna be able to one-shot a lot of the nodes. That's a very good team. I don't know if it's the best team, and I don't know what the best team is, but I know the team that I used, like I said, I had Nick Fury in place of Shield Security as far as your team, and that's what I used. Now, if you don't have this team built and you really want to use Shield Security, you might want to replace Rocket with Nick Fury, because Shield Security is a really, really good tank with Nick Fury because of the bonuses they give to each other. So if you don't have it built, then maybe put Nick Fury in instead of Rocket. If you already have them built, then go in. You're gonna beat Fear of the Darkness with that team. Next question. Have a funny question. Ever wondered how Shield Operative hides Hulk under stealth? I have not wondered that, but every time I see that now, I will be wondering that. Thank you for that question. And thank all of you guys for asking questions in this mailbag. If your question didn't make it, I do these every week, so make sure you go check out my Discord and leave a question on there. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, I do plan on going on Twitch tonight and doing some live streaming, so if you want more questions answered, check me out there, and I'm not sure exactly what time, so make sure you guys are following me in social media. The links are down below. I will see you guys hopefully tonight. If not, I will see you in the next video. Make sure you share this with your friends. Subscribe. Let's get this channel to 20,000, guys. I got some fun plans when that thing gets up there. So tell all of your friends, and I will see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin out. Oh, this is like an epic come from behind victory, guys. I think I gotta do the KO for this one. Right when it is done, and oh, there it is. Yes, I didn't expect to win that one. That was a little rough, but they won at 8.3, so